I wanted her to enjoy this part of her life, and just instead of going from her home, maybe struggling, straight into assisted living or care, because I think there's some pretty cool stuff that goes on that she can still live. And I think her nutrition has gotten better, and those things make me feel better.
Hi, I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Comfort Life. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading retirement communities and care providers to uncover insights to community lifestyle, care, culture, and leadership. This includes insights from residents, family members, and administration. This is the Comfort Life Insider Perspective.
I'm pretty candid right up at the beginning. Is I worked in this industry years ago, so I had a close-up look at this facility, Shannon Oaks, and I actually worked supporting it for a good number of years. So for myself and my mom and dad, my dad just passed away, and so for us it was like, what's mom's next step? And I went back to when I was supporting that facility in different ways, and I thought, man, I love that place. So I asked mom. It took a little while, but I said to mom, is this something that you want to do? You know, it was a conversation. It wasn't a, hey, we're doing this. And so we went out and we looked at it together. I already knew a lot about the facility, as far as, you know, how caring it was, the facilities that were there. I still actually knew some people that worked in that facility. So those are all things that drew me there right at the beginning when we started looking at different options for us as far as my mom goes. It's fairly close to our home, my wife's and my home. So that was also important to us. Yeah. I think what was really important to us is when the decision was made, for me, it was important that mom could feel that when she moves into a place like this, that she could take a little bit of her home with her. And that was really important for me first. I don't know if she knew at first how important it was going to be to her, but I think it really helped. I think we were able to basically, it's obviously a little bit smaller than what her condominium was where she was, but we were able to bring all the things with us that sort of almost duplicated what she had in her place. The things that were the bonuses that when she made this decision were the little things like that she couldn't do anymore. She has now support with cleaning and once a week. She has support in some of the washing and things like that were really important to her. She was able to choose the suite because of COVID. One of the things that we were able to do is we had a big choice. I know that when I was working, supporting that site, there was hardly ever, you couldn't get into that place. So because of COVID, what happened is there was more openings because people were not moving around as much. So mom had a really nice choice. She wanted to be close to certain things, and her suite, she was able to find a suite that was important to her, even on the side where the sun comes up, and everything we were able to accommodate all those things. So that was really nice. It has a feeling of home, or maybe even better than home. It's like we used to joke about this site, how it's like a cruise ship on land. And there's just all the facilities. She doesn't have to worry about her meals. My mom doesn't drive, so that my dad did all that. So when dad passed, that was just something that was very difficult. We did a lot of shopping. All of that's taken care of for her now. And it's got a lovely inner courtyard. Mom didn't get out of her suite very much. Now she phones me and she says, "Oh, I walked around the courtyard 2 or 3 times tonight." I'm like, "Way to go, mom." You know, she gets excited about that. And it's beautiful out there. It's like, you know, I say it's like Disneyland. It's like just so beautiful, or Butchered Gardens, we would say in Vancouver, you know, it's a beautiful place. So it's nice. And you feel good about, you know, that you want your mom or any parent to be in a great place, you know, where you feel good about it. So some of this obviously has to do with some of my answers will have to do with COVID, and you know, it was with my dad being gone so recently. what was sort of difficult for her was companionship. There was nobody else in the house anymore. So she was on her own, and she battled with that a little bit. My mom's okay actually being alone, but it was quiet. So I would say that there's a good number of things that improved for her. It's one, that she has a community around her now. She has people that she can just, chat with, have a meal with. She has a good support system around her. And that's not only me now, which that's what it was. It was me and my wife, and which is great maybe, but on the other hand, there's only so many hours in a day that you can do everything. She gets her meals. I think her the food she's getting is probably improved, because she just couldn't cook for herself at all that much anymore. She was able to do her breakfast really well, but we supported her other meals, and she's definitely getting more rounded meals now, like with everything. Like, she says, I get a salad in every meal almost. I get this every meal. I'm like, oh man, made our cooking look really bad compared to what she's getting now. But, and I really appreciate that, because she can. Who's going to really get out and make a salad for themselves at lunch and dinner? It doesn't happen, but in a place like that, she gets those things. That's really good for her. And again, like I said before, the little bit of support she gets, even though it's independent living, is just being able to get the fresh towels, get the linens changed, get those things. Those are hard things. When you're 86 and you got to, put your bedding on by yourself, that's difficult. For us, we don't think about it, but for her, yeah, all those things, she really appreciates all those little things that she gets supported in now. So I think right now she's in a transition. Obviously, it's a whole new thing. I mean, my parents were married for 60 something years, and now to go and do something like this on her own, I was kind of wondering how it's going to go too. But I've just been amazed at how well she's taken it. She's taken it a day at a time, and I think she's really surprised by just the support she's gotten. And I think that's a big thing, because I think that takes the fear away. When the staff comes in and says, oh, do you need help with this, or everything is new to her. So I think what's happening now is a moment in time where she's still learning a lot of stuff. She's still testing it, but she's loving it. That's the good part. And every time, she's like, oh, or are you guys going to come for dinner? And I said, well, we can now. It's changed. And she says, well, will you phone them? I says, Mom, why don't I try to challenge her to do little things? I said, why don't you ask them if we can come for dinner? And then she does it. And then I don't have to ask again. She's like, that was no problem. They have no problem with us doing that. So little things like that have just really improved her. She's a little bit more outgoing, and yeah, she just loves it. She loves, even the people that are there have been really, there's people that come alongside of her and help her out, because first 3 months, you don't know, like what's next. It's kind of like you're the new kid on the block, and it's nice when there's people there that come in and just come alongside of you and support you. So it's been really good that way. Yeah. Because I work for this organization, it's a nonprofit that oversees Shannon Oaks, and I've always felt that not just this site, but that's why I enjoyed working for this nonprofit, is because of what they stand for, and just really how they really want to take care of seniors. It was an organization that many years ago, and I can't tell you all the history of it because I don't know and I don't have all the dates, but for a long time ago, there was a bunch of guys that really saw a need to support seniors. And that's certainly it's kept on with this organization. So that really drew me to it. That's what drew me to the job when I started it. And I loved supporting, even in my role. My role was more on the aspect of taking care of the buildings and things like that, but it even flowed into, as I take good care of the building, the seniors are well taken care of. They can be proud of where they're living and things like that. So that just is part of my decision making, and as far as where she would go, what we loved about it. The people that work there are amazing as far as I'm concerned. Like, they're not just memorizing my mom's name and 160 to 200 other residents' names. They're remembering my name, when I'm coming in there, and they remember who you are. And so it's just, it feels really good just coming in, and so I think we've really appreciated that. And that's in all aspects, from the maintenance guys. They've had to help us when we did the move in. And I'm like, wow, like they hung pictures. I'm like, like I put a little mark on the wall and they came in and they did all that for her. And I was like, that's pretty good. Those guys have some pretty important things to do to be able to then take, that half an hour and come in there and do that for her. I thought was pretty cool. So it just showed me the staff there is just really willing to make it a home for the people that are there. I think that's cool. Yeah, definitely. I think that every family is going to be in a different situation. In our family, I'm an only son, so a lot of things fall fall on my shoulders to make sure that everything's done. Like as far as dad's gone, finances have to be taken care of. Mom, doesn't drive. All those things. So we were busy. We were happy to do it, but I think too sometimes you feel, wow, are the meals as good as they could be? Are we doing this well enough? Are we getting there early enough? Am I taking care of this? So there's definitely this something that happened for both of us. My mom is going into this new phase of her life. I really wanted her to enjoy independent living. So that was important to me because I'd worked in it. I see all the levels from independent to assisted to care. And I thought, I don't want her to miss out on this aspect of it. Because a lot of folks there, they don't want to go in there, and I understand there's so much memories in their homes and things like that. And but because I worked in it, I know that a lot of things have changed from when my parents were looking after their parents, and it wasn't maybe as great as it is now. And they have a lot of those memories. So I wanted her to enjoy this part of her life, and just instead of going from her home, maybe struggling, straight into assisted living or care, because I think there's some pretty cool stuff that goes on that she can still live. And I think her nutrition has gotten better, and those things make me feel better because now some of that weight is off my shoulders. It doesn't mean I still see my mom 2 or 3 times a week. I still go in, I still see her. She's happy about it. She even now once in a while, like even in the first 3 months, she's already been like, you don't have to come today. I think I'm okay for another couple days. So I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. Whether it's Shannon Oaks or anywhere out there, I think that everybody has to sort of look at their family dynamic and see what their needs are as far as that goes. When we went, that's sort of what we did. We we came to the point where we said, I'm always going back to my dad, but that was a crucial point to us making this decision. I think it's really important to do your homework. It's important to have have those big conversations with your parents and to really be honest. I know a lot of, because we don't always understand why it's difficult for them to leave home. I think when my mom, when we did the transition day from home to the site, it wasn't, my mom actually didn't say goodbye to the condominium. She said goodbye to my dad. So that clicked for me. It wasn't just that she's leaving this place, but she was leaving this part, behind. So we have to really be understanding of our parents when they want to hang on to something, have those big conversations, explain to them, why it's important. I think that sometimes the concept is, oh, we just want to move you somewhere. But I don't think with a place like Shannon Oaks, that's the case. I mean, I wanted my mom to enjoy her life. I wanted her to have good food. I wanted her to not have to worry and still to be able to do that. And that I wasn't the one that had to be the person that did all that for her, which is almost impossible. You can't do that by yourself, I think that's important. And I think it's important to do those walkthroughs and to ask the facilities of those important questions. And if they're a good site, they'll explain all that to you. They'll go through it with you. They'll calm your nerves about certain things. again, because I knew the facility, I knew the people, even still knew some of the people that are working there. I know their heart. And that's a difficult thing to try and figure out in a 3-hour or 2-hour walkthrough. And that's something that comes out after a little while that's something that you got to try and figure out. I knew I know a lot. I knew a lot about the background of this facility. I actually was working with the facility years ago, and it sort of gave me a better understanding of what facilities like Shannon Oaks are like. I realized that, wow, when you step into a place like this, you have those things that you're looking into, maybe even when your parents are still home, like call buttons and things like that. And I knew that the menus and the kind of food, the kind of care she was going to get. So those are things that I looked at. I knew that the safety aspect, because I was involved in some of those things before, were all taken care of. I knew and had seen and had worked with some of the staff. So that was something that that I knew. So it was one of the places for sure that I wanted to introduce to my mom right away. And because I worked in the industry, it was one of those places that I just naturally went to. It didn't really go far past Shannon Oaks because it just checked off most of our boxes. I would say almost all of our boxes, because there's so many other things that I didn't even realize about the facility. Once mom got in there, all of a sudden I find out, oh, we have to take mom usually for every 3 weeks to blood tests. Now I find out, oh, that can actually be done in the facility and it can be done every week or whatever. Real big bonus, because even if your loved one is in a place like this, if you still got to go in and do your doctor's appointments and blood tests and all these things, you're still running around a lot. So that was a big one too, that all of a sudden came on, which I didn't know about till even after we'd moved in. Even things like a hairdresser being on site. Wow, don't have to take the person out, right? We found a doctor that was right around the corner, really close. Everything, all those things really just check. And I tell you, that's what people have to do, because I was in the industry. I knew a lot. People that aren't in the industry, they have to go through that through the facilities, and they have to check on these things. Are all the things that we have on our list, are we able to check the boxes on all those things? So I think there's two significant things that happened in this journey. And when we first started even talking about it, I said to my mom, I says, well, what's our future? Like, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? You're in your condo. What are you going to, what's your plan, basically, is what I said. She says, well, I'm just going to stay here until I can't anymore. And I says, well, Mom, that's not a plan. Because now you're at the end of when that happens, when you can't anymore, it doesn't just happen that tomorrow you go into someplace else. These things take a lot of time when you're in the medical system, and those things are going to be taking, decisions are going to be made for you. You're not going to make decisions, but decisions are going to be made for you. So when we started talking about it that night, right away, she talked to her sister who's in Europe, and she talked to her sister-in-law who's up country, and she talked to them about it. I think it's important I think it was important for her to talk to them. And they were very enthusiastic. They were like, oh, you should go, you should check it out. So there was a lot of encouragement from them without me phoning them. So it worked out really well. And the next day, the conversation turned, and she says, oh, I'd like to at least go see this and check it out. So we booked in to have her look at the whole place, and they did a really good job. For us, I think it was that just my mom was just, first of all, it's just stepping through the front door. I think if I remember right, I think it says welcome home or something like that when you come through the door. There's a beautiful fireplace there, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this isn't just your regular place, right? And we were able to walk through the gardens. They have like a atrium with birds in it. There's things like that. And that's, for some people, that's really, for my mom and my dad, they love just seeing little chickadees and stuff in their backyard. So that was important to her. Little things like that, I think, can just draw someone in, right? And then when we walked through all the facilities, I think my mom was just like blown away. It was almost too much for the tour. Like, she's just so, the dining room, and then the private dining room, and then the, you know, everything that's downstairs, a whole auditorium downstairs that they could watch shows at or have live shows at, a country kitchen where your family can come in and they can actually cook their family meal down there and enjoy it together. I think she felt it wasn't just going to be her alone when she came out of that place. She didn't feel like, oh, we're trying to put her somewhere. I think she felt more like, oh, one, I can enjoy this, and two, I can enjoy it with my family. So I think that's what that showed us. Okay, it was kind of interesting. It was. I did most of it myself. We sort of talked about it quite a bit, how we were going to do this, and because we were really wanted it to be a copy of what she had at home, a lot of her memories, even the furniture and things like that. We talked about that quite a bit. We decided which pieces we were gonna take to make her feel most comfortable and what was most important to her. And then I started 2 weeks before the move. I was able to start moving 2 weeks before the date. I started moving certain pieces out every few days until up to the last day. We were able to the very last day, we moved her bedroom suite over. And so she was losing small pieces at her place, and I was already setting it all up for her over there. So by the time she moved in that day, she basically moved into her new home, which looked like her old home. She wasn't involved at all in any of that stuff, even maybe with packing up the small things and bringing the boxes over. But my wife and I were even able to already start putting things away. So that was a huge surprise and a huge sort of burden lifted off her, because at 85 at that point she was, to try and do that's fairly difficult. So overwhelming. So when she got there, she was really surprised. She really loved it right at the beginning, because she's like, wow, everything's put away and it looks so nice. And so that's sort of the way we did it. I know every family is going to do that different. I had the time to do that. Not every family does. Because I'm sort of like, I try to figure things out, which is easiest for maybe the site and for myself and for us. And I know, because I've had other family members that have went through these stages, even my mother-in-law and things like that. I know that the elevator is a super important thing around mealtime. You know that elevator is going up and down and trying to get people to those meals. And so I just already talked to them and said, look, I'm gonna try and really work around those times. I'm gonna move in slowly so I don't shut the elevator down for a long time. And I also know that if I go through the basement, I'm not clogging up the front door. There's a garage down there. Nobody hardly goes way down below. So I could then just wait for a good time, take that elevator, load it up once, and then go all the way to the floor I want and offload it. I basically probably took, if long, I took a minute away from everybody. They totally supported me in this. They were able to let me in down there. I was able to move things in, and I did it at off time so it wouldn't so that worked out super, super well as far as everything goes. I bet you a lot of people that they didn't even know that we had already moved everything in. It was just done so quietly through that way. But again, that's sort of something that, because I worked there, I knew the layout, I knew I could do something like that, and they supported it. It was good for them too. I'm not sure I would do a whole lot different. Like I said before, my parents were together in their condo. They were doing okay together. Had my dad have been maybe, my dad was very independent. So I think for them that worked. But what I would have loved my dad actually would have been able to experience, I think he actually would have thrived in a community like this. You know, I wish maybe that would have maybe been one thing that I would have maybe liked. But because they lived very close to us, their condo is very close to us, so we could go over a lot. It was easier for me too. So when my dad, I don't think I would change a lot. I think I waited from November to May to have that conversation. I knew that there had to be a healing time there, and I just opened the door a little bit for my mom to have that conversation. And I wanted to see if she was going to bite or not. And when she did, when she got some encouragement from others, I'm glad that she did what she did. I don't think I would have done it earlier. I think it would have been a little too early for us as a family, but for others, everything is, that's the one thing is you're getting my perspective. Every family has a little bit different perspective. So for us, it was good.
For more information about this community, you can visit their profile at comfortlife.ca.